NIO with 4,500 insurance registrations. That's for the week of September 2nd through September 8th in 2024. And I want to do something different. So I pulled up my playlist from last year to do a comparable week comparison. And here's where we were September 4th through the 10th. 3,800 was the number. Interestingly enough, the weeks right before that, NIO had their strongest point during the 2023 year on the weekly numbers with 5,000 for 2 weeks straight. Of course, this last week, NIO had 6,000. That's that thumbnail there. The thumbnail game is, well, slowly improving, but there's a lot of work to be done. Here's what I'm watching, though. And so I wanted to share this. You know, we've got in China, in the Chinese market, NEVs, new energy vehicles, eventually will be all sales. And so the ICE, the gas sales will be obsolete at some point. But there are still a lot of premium sales that are going to Audi, Mercedes, and BMW. So this is what I'm kind of watching for, is the shift, the pivot, as more sales come to companies like NIO and Zeekr. And those companies both at 45 and 4,600 for the week. And then if we do that comparison of Mercedes, BMW, and Audi, their weekly numbers 12, 10, and almost 8. So you see, we still have some. And what I'll be watching for is these numbers to kind of flip-flop and switch places. I think we'll see it happen. I don't know time frame. I also don't know how many sales, when, you know, if they can come out with competitive enough products, BMW, Mercedes, and Audi on the EV side of things, that they might be able to maintain. And I'll be really curious if we end up seeing longer term partnerships with NIO and possibly battery swappable models coming from some of these. I'm going to pivot really quickly, though, even within this video, because there's something I wanted to point out. It's kind of fun. And I also, I just track this stuff. I consider even myself, my channel, and even like what I'm doing right now, going through today, I'm getting into some NIO content, other videos from other people, and just kind of looking at the comment section and you know, while I'm watching or listening to the video, and then just commenting that's what I'm doing. And I'm doing that on some of the smaller channels, we'll say 50,000 subscribers or fewer. And then I'll probably do that over the next couple of days on some bigger channels, because I'm curious what I'll see in those comment sections as well. But this is something that came up on my most recent video. Tony says, your videos have not been popping up on my feed for some reason. I had to type you in to find this video. And it's so interesting to me when this happens. It does happen. I've had people tell me this a number of times over the course of time. So I just thought, you know what, let me have a little fun with this. Let's go full-blown conspiracy theory. And so my response to him is a few potential conspiracy theories. Let's take it full throttle. The first one is YouTube prefers Elon and Tesla, rewards those who pump Elon and Tesla, and buries channels or content that don't pump them. Now, you might think, well, Aaron, you're just being biased. Actually, I've got one channel in particular that I'm thinking of where it rebranded itself completely after doing a video about Tesla and how Tesla was not the leader with FSD. And then they ended up pivoting and focusing all on Tesla content, and the channel growth has exploded since then. But I've also seen a number of channels that started with even fewer subscribers than I had, or I saw them start from no subscribers, brand new channels. And in part because of their coverage of Tesla, the channel's growth and their growth have exploded. So that's just me sitting back, observing things and sharing kind of what I see. Here's my point number two. Earlier videos I did earn me a soft shadow ban that is ongoing. One was entitled The Vaccine Sweepstakes. Now, I want to make a point on that, but I'll come back to it. Another video is called The Great Reset. I'll make a point about that as well. And then in another one, I talked about The Creature from Jekyll Island as a must read for people who want to do a deep dive and learn how the banking system operates. Oh yeah, and I did call out Janet Yellen and Jerome Powell in 2020 for both saying that 2% inflation was achievable moving forward. A look at current prices is all we need to do to see who was right, is just review current pricing to see who was right and wrong with respect to that. Now, my final kind of thought was, I'll be curious to see if Elon or Twixter ever truly allow NIO to trend on that platform. I have seen multiple times where something will be trending there, and this is the Twixter platform, and then disappear or have fewer views on later time frames, which doesn't make sense, right? Super suspicious in my opinion, but then that's consistent with why I said he was buying that platform, the company in the first place. As a billionaire with multiple companies, it makes sense for him to want to control or shift certain narratives, right? That's just my take, my objective view. Now, coming back to point number 2, the vaccine sweepstakes, for those who don't know, I did a video very early on, and it was in fact about 3 different pharmaceutical companies. And all I did in the video is I said, hey, I bet their stock prices will all go up because I saw that each of these companies has already agreed to sell billions of doses of their vaccines to countries around the world. So that would generate a lot of sales, a lot of revenue, and probably their stock prices will go up. They did, but I got shadow banned. I had that CDC disclaimer. I was flagged to the video just because I even had that in the title. So that got me curious. That was kind of my introduction. I was still new on YouTube and didn't realize we're not really free. We're free-ish. We're free to sort of put things out there, and the narrative is going to take over. And if there's a direction, the narrative is intended to be taken by whatever platform or whomever is in control. And maybe there's some algo and randomness. I don't know, but that made me curious. So I did a great reset video because I was just like, okay, I want to now test this out, use myself as a little market research. Let me do a video on this and put that real big in the thumbnail and title and see if it gets shadow banned. Ooh, how fast that was shadow banned. And so that's just really curious for me to try. And I do use myself in conjunction with things like that. I realize, especially if you have gotten into the Creature from Jekyll Island with respect to that book and that content, that is a true deep dive into the banking system. But because of that, in part because I've studied banking law and a lot of other things related to banking, it doesn't surprise me when we see the things like the FTDs, because it's really just kind of a play off of a takeoff of how the banking system operates. And what some of these funds have done is figure out how they can kind of use what some might say is potentially a legally fraudulent system and then implement it and use it to generate short-term profits in the stock market. This is, again, just me kind of sharing my nerding out research side, a little, my overview, and what I hope is objectivity, because I try to remain neutral and just sit back and watch and study and observe. Obviously, I mean, I don't care what the fact that they have to change data with inflation to make it not look as bad as it really is. It's really simple. When you look at pricing and you look back over the last few years, and what we're seeing is a blatant and perhaps the fastest erosion of the US dollar that we've ever seen. And so how does this play out? Do we end up with stock market crash, real estate market crash? I think there will be pockets of the real estate market that'll get hit. But anyway, I just wanted to share a little of that. Oh, and here, since we're on this platform now and my channel, let me show you what I mean, because I had someone actually tell me that they also didn't see any of my tweets. And so let's just briefly look at the views. This is my pinned most recent video, and I will pin this one. Let's just see what the traction is on this one. 440 views. I laugh because if we go down, 944 views on just a random NIO tweet early in the day, the same day. And then the day before, which was an evening when I posted this, it was a Sunday night, maybe Sunday versus Monday or Tuesday makes a difference. I don't know. But it was a retweet of Marcel's post, and wow, 1.4 thousand. Now it could be, and let's face it, I want to stay objective and not get into that, conspiracy theory element, or at least not look at that initially. But I want to say, hey, maybe retweeting something gets more views. Maybe the platform and the algorithms reward that on this platform. I don't know. I'll play around with that stuff. But that's kind of a little bit of a glimpse into my mind that I'm constantly in that sort of research mode and nerding out. This thing never stops. And so I figure, well, let me take in consume as much information and data as I can, and then hopefully I'll learn something along the way. But little bit of a tangent, but I wanted to drop this video. I'm happy with the 4,500 number. It's a very strong number to start the month for NIO on the insurance registration side of things. Obviously, I've been covering those weekly numbers for a long time. I'm coming up on 100 videos. I think this is like the 93rd video. So I'm trying to mix it up, I'll obviously, and also mix in some different content. This is a longer video. If they go longer than 8 minutes, I've been trying to create timestamps, and that just means you'll have an option to jump through and look at different content throughout the video in case you don't want to watch it all. For example, maybe you don't care or want to hear about me nerding out about my little I don't know if it's conspiracy theory, maybe it's accurate, but some of the things that I think I observed. The market research will be ongoing. Again, I'm going to go to some bigger channels and just see what the comment sections look like. And when I pop up there, I've already been caught on Atta the Atta Investors channel because I clicked on his video and I was going to look at the comment section, and then I realized he had just posted the video. So I was maybe the first commenter, and so I was like, "Oops, my bad. I'll come back. I'll come back and look at this later." And somebody was kind of laughing at me. And but anyway. Hope everyone is doing well. Have a great day. It's Tuesday. We'll see what happens. It's funny. The trade volume for NIO was like 25 million shares traded kind of mid-morning. And I was like, oh, it feels like that's low volume, at least recently. We'll see what happens. I'll come back. I'll keep it on the ticker at the bottom of the screen. Also, we will continue to track things in the short term, because if we end up seeing a short squeeze, gosh, I just want to sit back and enjoy watching it with, other folks here. I think it'll be fun. So anyway, have a great day. I'll cut myself off and get out of here. I got some meetings I got to get to. I'll be back before you know it with more content. Thanks. We'll see you all again very soon.